Good morning, warriors. Fernando here, God's prepared warrior, and welcome to Saturday morning. We made it to another weekend, and so just wanted to wish you guys a happy weekend and just kind of go over some things that are happening in our world. This is an extra video from me to you guys. I don't always do a Saturday video. Usually I am busy with the coffee trailer, and so today we had a day off. So today I want to talk to you, just kind of want to share this daily devotional that I wrote this morning. And I want to share it with you today because things are happening, and again, like always, we don't want to look at things through the lens of fear, but through the lens of trusting God in everything that is happening. It's a bit windy. Hopefully that's not coming out on the video and bothering you guys too much. It's 54 degrees today, and so I'm still in shorts. It's not that cold. Just saying. Today I want to talk about when the world shifts around you, and I want you to know that, God still remains steady. Today's world feels unsettled, around the globe. Not just that doesn't include, where you live. It's unsteady around the globe, around the whole thing, right? Even here at home, we are feeling unease, right? We are confronted with, disagreements, political tension, even conflict, right? From, the protests in Europe and the protests that are now happening in Greenland over, national sovereignty, to, headlines about, federal investigations into state leaders that are happening, in Minnesota. That all of that is happening, and it's here in the United States, right? Headlines can kind of stir anxiety and spark confusion. So, I want you guys to stay vigilant, know those things are happening, but don't fixate on them to the point where those news articles or videos, bring fear into your life, right? So in Denmark and Greenland, there are thousands have taken to the streets responding to the international pressure and, asserting their right to self, just kind of protecting their sovereignty and things like that, right? Showing the world what matters most, to them, right? Freedom and voice, right? And at the same time, there's tensions here at home. Things have risen as, the U.S. Justice Department investigates governors and mayors over the complex legal and political, disputes sparked by protests and deeply emotionally driven events, right? So what do we do with information like this, and how can we stand spiritually when the ground just kind of seems like it's shifting beneath our feet? Well, the answer to that question does not depend on, who is in power, which nation is protesting, or what new investigation makes the headlines, right? The answer begins and ends with the unchanging character of God, right? God is our refuge, and He is our strength and ever-present help in trouble. That's what we read in Psalms 46:1. So no matter what negotiations, no matter what protests or investigations fill our screens, right, or our TVs, God's throne remains secure. His purpose persists even when when world events, appear chaotic, right? He is our refuge. He is our place of safety, and He is our peace, right? He is strength when we feel weak and overwhelmed. He remains present always, right? He is steady and He is faithful when humanity stirs with uncertainty. And as Christians, we are not called to be insensitive to world events. Jesus Himself wept at the injustices around Him. He cared deeply for the hurting, and He prayed for peace in troubled times. But we are also called to anchor our hearts in Him. First, not in fear or in division, right? The Apostle Paul reminds us, let not your hearts be troubled. Believe in God, believe also in me. That's John 14:1, right? So when the news stories, reflect conflict, whether, diplomatic disputes between nations or legal battles, within our own, you can respond with prayer, asking God for wisdom, asking God for His peace in our world, right? And asking God for guidance for those who are involved, for our leaders. Our leaders need guidance, right? And how better is it for us to lift them up in prayer, right? Because they need that guidance. And so who else better to give them the wisdom but God, who gives it to us freely, right? I think we should have we should have compassion, right? We should be loving people on all sides, right? We're all human, right? Yes, we have differing opinions. I get that, but we are still called to love everyone, right? You know, without without thinking about those things, right? We on a human level, we are to love others, right? We should be seeking truth, right? Not only that, we should be speaking truth with grace and honesty, even when our emotions run high, right? We should seek peace, allowing God's presence to guard our hearts instead of worry or anger, right? God does not promise that troubling events will cease, but He promises that His presence will remain with us, right? His presence will be with us. He promises that. Refuge in God begins with a heart anchored in Scripture. We have to have Scripture. That's why this channel exists. Yes, it's a prepping channel, but it's also about spirituality, about trusting and having faith in God, even as we prepare, right? Scripture is important, and a life shaped by prayer. It's so important for us to have, right? It's not just a denial of reality. It is a steadfast confidence that transcends it, right? Jesus did not say for His followers that they would be free from trouble. He said we would have peace in the midst of it. So today, when headlines feel heavy and events are just kind of unsettling, take your eyes off of the turmoil and place them on the one who never changes, right? He never wavers, and He never fails to hold you steady. This is the God that we serve. This is the faith that we have. So today, guys, whatever you see on TV, whatever you are reading, whatever headlines you're reading on your phone this morning, I want you to trust in the Lord. You know, the world seems like it's upside down, it's spinning out of control, but the world is in God's hands. And if you study Scripture, you know the end of the story. So guys, today, trust in the Lord. Let your worries, give them over to God, and let them become victories in your life. Guys, have a happy Saturday today. I hope that you are having a great, wonderful weekend. It's beautiful out here where I am, and you know, tomorrow is supposed to be freezing, so we're gonna have our first freeze tomorrow. So guys, have a great Saturday and hope to see you on the next video. Remember to stay vigilant, stay prepared, and I'll see you on the next one. God bless.